much. My name is Ben Jumbe. I work with Nation Media Group. I have two questions. The first one is it not a shame that none of the African countries was able to meet the targets? And then as AU, why don't you put up some like punishments or kind of, I could say punishments for countries that fail to meet the targets that have been set? Because at the moment, many African countries are relying on donors, foreign donors, to feed their own people.
Good afternoon. My name is Joram Paul Sonko. I work with UBC. Now, mine is about the African Continental Free Trade Area that she mentioned. I wonder though, did you, in the meetings, discuss about the free entry to the markets, especially for the farmers? And is there an opportunity for them to access these markets freely or at a cheaper rate? Because we do have countries that are restricting others without visas.
My name is Nelson Mandela Mohos from the New Vision. My question is kind of related to the question that was first asked on the failure to meet the target. I would love to know precisely what do the countries say were the challenges they met, that hindered them from meeting the targets, and what do they say or propose that they are going to do about it so that they can meet the target?
Indeed, the first question was really to meet the target, and why didn't they meet the target? We say that they are not on track. What are the reasons? From what we had, because this one is not just yesterday, because this was a 25 months process. So all of them participated. All of them, they gave their own how they can better improve. Most of the things we all know, apart from having also the issue of the pandemic in 2020, because by the pandemic, before we presented the reports, they were on track, but now they are not. Mostly Rwanda is always the first country, the country that is the first best perform. So the issue is the shocks also affected. The conflict also affects the production of food, because when we have conflict, and also the climate change. Because in some country we can look at Malawi, Mozambique, because of a cyclone, and Zimbabwe, the farmers lost a lot of their production because of the floods, all these kind of things. Those are also one of them. The second one, it is also the issue of they produce, but the issue of post-harvest loss. They lose a lot. 30% of what our farmers produce, it's been lost on the fields because of lack of infrastructure, rural infrastructure, storage facility. All this, we have to look at it, and we really try to, we embedded it in this new strategy that the government should give priority on rural infrastructure, electricity, this, because some of them are like, when you look at vegetable, they're very perishable products. So if you don't store it properly, you will lose it. If you don't sell it properly, access to market is another very big constraint, but because they have to create, the government have to do all this infrastructure. It's not the African Union. And you went as far to say, why can't we penalize them? The countries are sovereign. We are not police. This is not a police organization where we have to arrest them. This is intergovernmental organization to look at the development agenda of our continent. Support is just like a secretariat. My department, I have a mandate for agriculture, blue economy, rural development, and environment. We have other departments who have infrastructure. So each department look at the sector for the development. We also have, of course, we need peace and security and political affairs. So that one, we have this department. But we are just on the policy level. In terms of implementation, this is the responsibility of the member states. And the other issue that why they are not on track, their government also are not putting the 10%, which this decision of Maputo Declaration 2003 is very clear. At least Because yesterday we had a conversation with some countries, and they are right to complain. They say we cannot reach 10% to allocate in agriculture alone because our GDP is very small. So these countries, like the island, the seeds, the small island countries on the continent, they brought it up. But we cannot also change a decision of head of states. So we have to get a compromise. We finished. We approved the two documents. That is the strategy and the action plan and the Kampala declaration. It's been endorsed because it's the head of state that approved it. They endorsed it. This meeting of today. So all these issues that we know the issue is just the political will in some country is not there. The priority is not there. And the commitment that they made to do 10%, many of the countries do not. So I hope this time with this new decision, and we know that the two recent shocks serve as a lesson for us to change the narrative. That is the dependence of importation. We import our food. 38 countries in Africa, they don't produce, they import food. And with the issue of climate change, I mean, the impact of COVID, all these markets, there was no transportation of food on the world because it was a global issue. So we had to reflect, how can we get our food sovereignty in case of these shocks? Because in Africa, we don't have a food reserve. So, because we are dependent on this market. We wanted to buy rice in Thailand. Everything was closed, They banned exportation. So those are the areas that we took it well. We also had the advantage to be to have a African common position because the Secretary General of the UN, Mr. Guterres, he called for a summit on food system. And we worked, during 1 year, we are preparing our own position, the African position for that summit. So most of these things, these issues that I'm saying, it is there in our common position. The common position has about 43 game changing. So if our member states go through that, they can correct the narrative and the way they are doing agriculture. The second one is about the IFCFTA. It is true that how can IFCFTA be really, working, function very well when we still have issues like a visa, issues like access to market. So we are working. I know that my colleague Muchanga is even here. We are working in terms of in economic integration of our continent. So during the integration, I'm sure they will start looking at all these aspects among the member states so that we can put those measures to eliminate the passports so that we will be the free movement of women's and of women and the goods amongst our region. If you look at the West Africa, this thing doesn't exist. They have already got a very good integration. They have the same currency. They don't need visa to travel. They travel with this thing among that region. So we need to do it. I think SADC is trying to do also some opening in terms of acquiring visa, because all the members of SADC today, they don't show visa. I think East Africa was yeah. So those things are coming because it's a new initiative, it's a new program. So we have to have time, but we are looking at all these things because we have to have a free market. We have to have good roads. So infrastructure is one of the problems, and integration is also another problem about the visa. Failure to meet the target, as I think I answered the first question, is lack of investment also. So we don't have investment, but now countries are committed really to look at this aspect because they also want to make sure that they go beyond just agriculture. That's why we are calling it sustainable, resilient agri-food system transformation on the continent.
There was a third question. What was the third question?
No, it's almost the same thing.
Okay, all right.
It was because how to meet,
combined
failure to meet the targets.
All
yeah,
right.